welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. Truly, truly is. Before you get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer that this video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so. It really helps me out and I really, really appreciate it. Okay, today we are talking about 16-year-old Adrianne Lee Reynolds. She was born on September 12th, 1988 in El Dorado, Arkansas, to parents Tony and Carolyn. Her mother was just 16 years old when she had Adrianne, and that would actually be the same age that Adrianne would be when she is brutally murdered by what was supposed to be her best friend. Adrianne loved to draw and sketch. It is said that she had the voice of an angel and she had dreams of being a country singer and a fashion designer. She was described as quiet and shy, but also very flirtatious. Adrianne was a difficult child, to say the least. She moved to Moline, Illinois to live with her dad and stepmom because she was having a lot of issues in Texas with her mom and stepdad. She couldn't get along with her stepfather, she hated authority, and she hated people telling her what to do. It's kind of what happens when you're 16. She wanted to do good, but because of all the fighting, she would begin acting out. This acting out would end up getting her 3 assault charges and a stint in rehab, all before her 12th birthday. 12th birthday. She was also a cutter, and even though she wouldn't cut deep, it doesn't matter. She's still a cutter. Her stepmother questioned her about it once, and she told her that cutting would make her feel better. So, because of all the issues she was having in Texas, her family decided it would be best for her to go live in Moline for a fresh start. Moline, Illinois is a city in Rock Island County with a population of about 43,000 people. It's on the Mississippi Riverbank. Moline was once called Plow City because of its strong ties to John Deere. So it's basically the John Deere headquarters of America. When Adrianne first moved to Moline, she had trouble figuring out who she was and who her interests and what her interests were. Which I think that's completely normal, whether you move or not, right? Her father enrolled her into a school named Black Hawk High School. So Black Hawk basically caters to troubled youth that require a highly structured environment. So they focus on academic, behavioral, emotional support, functional life skills, and vocational training. Her father had to enroll her in Black Hawk because she was so far behind in school that she would have never been able to catch up in a public high school. So while at Black Hawk, Adrianne would meet and befriend a girl named Sarah Kolb. Sarah Kolb. Where to begin with Sarah Kolb? Okay. Sarah is described as a very nice, upfront person who spoke her mind. She had a great sense of humor, was strong-willed, popular, confident, and wasn't afraid to open up to people. She had a gothic style of dress that Adrianne would eventually conform to. She befriended Adrianne, took her under her wing, and introduced her to all of her friends at the high school. She was a really good friend to Adrianne in the beginning of their friendship. She would give Adrianne rides home from school, she would buy her lunch, and because she worked at the movie theater, she would get Adrianne into movies for free. Sarah was openly bisexual, and she liked Adrianne as more than a friend. And even though Adrianne was not gay or bisexual up to this point, she did give a relationship with Sarah a chance. The two dated for a very tiny bit, and things were fine in their relationship. There was definitely chemistry between the girls, but not long into the relationship, Adrianne decided that she just wanted to be friends. She was getting quite a bit of attention from boys, and she wanted to explore other options. So she tells Sarah that she just wants to be friends, and Sarah acts as if she understood. and she assured her that it would not affect their friendship. Keyword here being acted. Sarah was not okay with Adrianne seeing other people or the attention that she was getting from boys. It was infuriating her, as a matter of fact. One night, Sarah decides to bring Adrianne to a house party with a bunch of her friends, including a boy named Corey Gregory, and he plays a huge, huge role in this story. Corey and Sarah had dated in the past, but Sarah would end up ending their relationship. Despite this, Corey was madly in love with Sarah, and she had him wrapped around her little finger. He would literally do anything that she asked. So, the night of the house party, Adrianne would end up meeting and sleeping with a boy that was at the party. Okay, fine. You know, it, it happens, I guess. I wasn't perfect either, so who am I to talk? After they were done, Sarah went up to her and began screaming in her face, calling her every name in the book. On top of this, Sarah would pull a knife on Adrianne that night. Mutual friends that the two had have said in interviews that Sarah made a lot of empty threats. So even though it was shocking that Sarah would do something like this, just because Adrianne hooked up with a boy, they didn't believe that anything would ever come of it. Adrianne decides to go back to the house party a second time, but this time without Sarah. While at the party, Adrianne would meet and have sex with a different boy. While they were doing the deed, Sarah shows up and finds out what Adrianne is doing. After they're done, Sarah again begins screaming at Adrianne. She was degrading her so badly that Adrianne ended up running out of the party in tears. Corey Gregory, the ex-boyfriend of Sarah, felt so bad for the way that she was treating Adrianne that he actually would end up running after Adrianne that night to talk to her. During that talk, Corey and Adrianne realized that they may want to take their friendship a little further. They began passing notes and hanging out behind Sarah's back. Meanwhile, Sarah decided to take the drama to school and tried to turn every one of their friends against Adrianne. Eventually, Adrianne would begin to miss her friendship with Sarah, and she would literally harass Sarah to please talk to her. She was calling her 30 times a day, writing her letters, and sending friends of theirs to talk to Sarah on her behalf. With one of the letters saying in part, "Sarah, why do you hate me so much and why do you want me to die?" January 21st, 2005. All of Adrianne's efforts finally pay off, and Sarah tells her that she wants to go to lunch with her to talk. So, Sarah, Adrianne, Corey, and Sarah's boyfriend all go to a Taco Bell parking lot. They never even make it out of the car before it comes out that Corey and Adrianne were hanging out 2 nights prior, Wednesday, January 19th, 2005, and a physical fight between the two girls starts. At some point during the fight, Corey held Adrianne down while Sarah strangled her. Corey would say in interviews that they didn't even think that Adrianne was dead at first, and once they realized that she was indeed dead, Sarah began to cry hysterically. I'm not really sure what she thought was going to happen if she strangled her best friend, but nevertheless, they killed her. After Sarah was dead, they drove her out to a farm, poured gasoline all over her body, and lit it on fire. They went back to the gas station and got more gas, went back and lit her on fire a second time. After the second attempt to cremate her didn't work because if they did just a little bit of research, they would find out that a fire's not going to get hot enough to cremate a body. You need a creamery. That's not called a creamery. Whatever it's called. You can't do it on your own. Sarah decided it would be easier to hide her if they cut her up into pieces. Corey refused to do this, so they enlisted the help of a 16-year-old friend named Nathan who was into all things blood and gore. So the following day, the three go back to the farm and Nathan dismembers Adrianne with his grandfather's handsaw. Sarah insisted that Adrianne's hands and head be placed in a different spot because they had identifiable features. So they placed the head and hands in a manhole that they covered with dirt and leaves. They left the rest of the body in a ravine and went to McDonald's to eat because they were stoned and hungry. This ended up eating away at Corey Gregory so much that he was suffering panic attacks and he was unable to sleep at night. He would eventually go to his father and told him what was happening. From there, his father would go to police with his son, tell them everything, and lead them to the body parts. Black Hawk School requires the students to keep a daily journal that is handed into their teacher every day. Sarah wrote about killing Adrianne in these journal entries. Corey and Nathan both testified against Sarah at trial. Sarah's boyfriend, Sean, also testified against her as well. He said that Sarah asked Adrianne for a hug, and when she went in for the hug, she grabbed her by the hair and the physical altercation began. When Sarah's boyfriend told her to stop, she replied, "If you don't like it, you can walk your ass back to school." So that's what he did, and that's the last time he saw Adrianne alive. Corey, who would later transition into Harley Quinn, would end up getting 45 years in prison.
If I could give my life, I would. I'm sorry. I know it doesn't make a difference. I know you will never forgive me, and I would never ask for it because I do not deserve your forgiveness. And every single day, I wish I could bring her back. It never leaves me.
Nathan got 5 years in prison, and after his release from jail, he would end up passing away in a car accident in 2012.
I'm disgusted because he's the man that gave Adrianne the death penalty. It's been 17 years her life was taken. Every day of my life, I think about her fighting and kicking for her life. I think about her grasping for air. I think about body parts down in that manhole.
She brought a picture of Adrianne to court, asking the judge to close the book on Harley Quinn, while the defense asked for the sentence to be shortened to 20 years.
Adrianne's life is worth more than 20 years. The value of her life is worth more than 20 years.
Sarah blamed Harley for the entire incident, claiming that Harley flew into a rage and started attacking her. She says that when she tried to stop her, she began hitting her and even gave her a bloody nose. She also claims that she didn't burn the body. She was only there because she was scared. She says that she had just witnessed a murder and that Harley had threatened to kill her entire family if she didn't go along with the plan. Sarah's trial would actually result in a mistrial with one juror holding out. She would be retried in 2012, found guilty, and sentenced to 53 years in prison. 48 for the murder and 5 for the concealment to be served consecutively. Sarah would say at trial, quote, "I felt no feeling as she died. There's no excuse why I couldn't turn off my not feeling to feel," end quote. Adrian's mother would say, quote, I'm not even able to bury my daughter. They tell me that they don't even have all of her. I believe in God and I believe she's in a better place, but I would rather have her here with me, end quote. All right, guys, if you're still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and appreciate you so, so, so very much. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't yet. And until next time, stay safe out there.